Afternoon, folks. Reno News Now here, also known as the ADHD Auditor. Back again with another Tuesday live stream. I'm here with Sacramento Community Watch and Xander the Educator. So, folks, we're going to be covering part 2 of the Nevada Cares Campus videos that we have from when we were doing our audit out there and they failed miserably. And the Washoe County Sheriff failed miserably as well. But before we get to that, we got some housekeeping things to take care of. First things first is we are moving our live streams to Thursday starting next week, folks. Again, we're doing them at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I do apologize, folks, that we're kind of competing with prime time and post prime time on the East Coast. But we do thank you guys for liking, sharing, and subscribing to our videos and coming back and watching our live streams afterwards. It really helps us out, really helps with the metrics. And we really do thank you, folks, for putting in those watch hours for us. Like we mentioned on our last live stream, Sacramento Community Watch channel is now fully monetized through YouTube's. So we can now do super stickers, super comments, and now ads we're going to be starting to play in the video. So please do watch those ads. They really do help us out. So we thank you for watching our videos, folks. Next bit of housekeeping that we have is Xander the Educator had his day in court for the contempt of, it was a failure to report a felon on where their address is. It's an absurd law. It's unconstitutional. But we're going to let Xander go ahead and explain what happened in court.
Ex-felon failure to report a change of address as an ex-felon, if you have a high-end felony, like one with a gun, or multiple felonies.
It's 2 felonies at the minimum. Yeah, 2 felonies at the minimum, I think is what the law said. Go ahead. Sorry. Didn't mean to cut you off.
Pled guilty. Fine. Continue.
Yeah, so Xander pled guilty. He got a fine. We just don't have the time or the resources, folks, to help him defend that unconstitutional law. And trying to go up against a magistrate is just a local magistrate on why something is unconstitutional is like pulling teeth. And you can even explain that. Sacramento Community Watch can explain that recently, but luckily he's been blessed to get some help on his appeal for his, and we're currently working on his appeal for the contempt of cop. I think that's all on the court stuff. Is there any other housekeeping we need to do before we get into it?
Nothing from my end.
Okay, the other one thing we'd like to do is we'd like to give a big shout out to Recognizing Our Rights channel. If you guys haven't subscribed to him, please do so. He featured Sacramento Community Watch's video, I Will Take Your ID, and we will get his take from his video towards the end of the live stream. But we do thank him, and a big shout out to Recognizing Our Rights for featuring our content again. So
yeah, appreciate that. Recognizing Our Rights. You're awesome, bro, for doing that.
We're awesome. So what we're going to do now is we're going to kind of take it off kind of where we left off, and they were talking about we were warned the last time we came, so we're going to kind of get that, and then we're going to flash back to the first visit. So let's go ahead and get into it.
So Sergeant Gomez,
how's it going, Gomez?
I forget your name last time. I don't think you wanted to give it to me.
No, I didn't.
Okay,
I don't give it unless I commit a crime.
I don't know. Last time you were here, you were asked to leave. My deputies did an investigation. They said they warned you. They told you to leave. You didn't leave. And
Who
before we
us?
can get your side of the story, you guys left. So the problem was solved last time.
Okay, so that was what he said that happened last time, folks. So I cobbled together a compilation video from the first visit. So basically, anytime that they were interacting with the police, you can hear what was said, and none of that fiction happened, folks. So
well, actually, I do, because we're on public property, and they call.
Why did you? Because these gentlemen went past me on that side of the gate. They didn't come through here.
Yeah, it was open.
They walked through where the participants were. I saw them coming down.
How you doing, man?
I private property.
I want to confirm they were on that side of the gate.
Is this public property?
Yes, I was right back here.
Because the gentleman said it's county property.
What I'm here for is whether it's our jurisdiction or Washoe.
Oh, I got you.
That's what I'm here for.
It's gonna be Washoe.
Because it was on that side?
Yeah.
Okay.
Figure out whose jurisdiction it was, folks.
So Washoe and Reno PD showed up here, guys, on scene. A couple of.
Sacramento Community Watch. Anybody can go check that. Sure, don't check.
Yeah. Thank you, bro.
Trying to help the community and everything.
So, guys, we got a complaint about this place here. Hey, Sarge, can I ask you a question real quick? Got you.
Yes, sir. Give me 1 second. I'll come talk to you.
Okay, I got you.
Where you gonna be, man?
Yeah, no problem.
Where do you want to be?
Say again?
Over here? Where you gonna be?
No, I'm standing right here. Yeah. Let me get out the way.
Are they messing with you?
Yeah, they called the police on us. For recording.
Oh, isn't that right?
How have you been?
Pretty good,
I
bro.
haven't seen you in a while, man.
Yeah.
Normally I see you downtown more. I know you work here. Yeah. What brought you down to your Cares Campus?
We got a complaint. Yeah, by email. Saying the staff are harassing people and pushing people. Stealing our
And the teenage Karen there.
I don't know if you knew that, but that fence, everything.
Yep, the same lady from the last
Yeah, they
incident.
told us.
Oh,
Same woman called the
Yeah,
police.
it's public property, so yeah.
see, I don't know if the campus itself is private property or public property or not.
Mhm.
But those sergeants will definitely know because it's all their
Okay.
jurisdiction.
And he even
Yeah,
says
some
he
guy
doesn't
came
know
out of here in a
whose
dress
jurisdiction or
shirt,
what's
and he
public
told
and
us it was
private.
county property, so
Right.
he let us walk past. Yeah, through the gate.
Folks,
but
this
the
is
security,
county
she wasn't having
property.
it. She's like, no, I think I know what I'm talking about. And I don't think that you do, ma'am.
Right.
Talking about the one right
The
here.
homeless
blue.
shelter, folks, for the Reno Sparks area.
There we go. Ally Universal, guys.
Me and Scott,
Right.
we already told you that everything in public view is public view.
It was public view, right, from Officer Bear.
What do you think of this weather lately?
Oh, it's awesome. It's been pretty good, actually.
You had to move around a little bit. You still had to record.
Went back and closed the gate. So they're not paying attention to the gate. They're not doing their job. They don't have the proper signs posted. They didn't learn the first
How we doing,
time.
Scott?
And folks, also be aware that the sheriffs or RPD has yet to make contact with us stating that we've been trespassed or anything of the sort. Nothing of the sort.
We'll come talk to you. You're on.
So enough said.
Thank you.
Ally.
Have you been
That's
educated, ma'am? Walk of shame. Simple as that. Nothing they can do about it. Always exercise your rights, guys.
I don't think what's meant is done.
Somebody has told you were trespassed.
What they say you
Told you do trespass.
Yeah, of course. We know what we're doing.
They didn't even speak to us.
They didn't. They're gone. They're leaving.
Seatbelt. Buckle your seatbelt. Stay safe out there. Seatbelt.
Kevin, put your seatbelt on.
Crash is kill cop. Put your seatbelt on.
Okay.
You want to talk, man? So you want to talk, man?
Oh no.
So I want to pause it here because Sacramento is saying, "Hey, I need to talk to you," and then now he's coming back out and going, "Hey, do you want to talk?" And
Yeah, I was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, we're good. So I mean, this is the majority of somebody talking to him about being trespassed here, right, folks?
Right.
Watch here.
We're good. We're good. Yeah, we're good, man. Appreciate it.
I mean, if we were trespassed, they would have said something to us.
No services for, and they
And Xander, nobody ever said anything to you, right?
Not one time about other than the point. Not one uniformed officer said anything to me.
Right.
Security thought they had authority. They were corrected. Blondie, Sabrina, thought she had authority. She was corrected. Not one police officer said anything to me the first time around about anything. Nothing.
Right. And like we seen on the GIS survey, we looked at this property, people, and this property is Washoe County property. Multiple properties in this same area are Washoe County property.
But the street is what?
City.
All the way to where?
All the way back here.
Yep.
The
That's
street
all.
Is city.
They have
It's
it.
a city street all the
Right.
way back to that gate. Back gate.
Yep.
City street all the way to their second gate.
So this little white box here, folks, is where they have that second gate. The map hasn't been updated. This line drive. Oops, let me undo that there. This line drive here is basically where it walks back, but right about here where this 3-3 is where they have that fence up right here. So where they're standing out, and this is the whole new Nevada Cares Campus. And in the background here, up in here, this is where they're building more shelter for the homeless. Right. But yeah, I mean, at this point, they don't have any proper signage up, and it's all public property. It's all government or county property. The road is county property, and as we know, folks,
No, the road is city property.
Road is city property, but it's still government property. But right. As you know, folks, with government property, it's open to the public unless they put signs up. And that's what they keep forgetting. You have to put the proper signage up that says who can and cannot enter. Otherwise, they can't trespass you. They don't have the authority. Public servants don't have the authority to tell you you're trespassed from public property unless you've committed a crime.
Right. They have some make-believe barriers up at the front with a little guard shack. That's it. I mean, I don't understand how they figure that that's what it takes to make a gate and say, oh, any member of the public can't come past this point. It's ridiculous. I mean, I don't get it.
Let's go back to that first visit.
311, I called them for vulnerable and disabled abuse and neglect, and they said, that's how we make money.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We made sure that these people out here knew that they can exercise their rights, even when it comes to law enforcement. So guys, it's Washoe County still here, so we're gonna walk over and see what they're talking about.
Sabrina, the teenage Karen. Sure, her and add her to our tyrant roll. I think we're going to add her to the tyrant roll here, folks.
Yeah, I'm on public property. I'm recording on public property.
You think she's running something? You know she ain't running nothing.
She can't control the camera, so that's why she's complaining to the popo.
She uses the police as her own personal security detail. That's what she does. She calls and thinks that they're supposed to do anything that she asks them to do. And it's just disgraceful.
And normally, if they have rowdy homeless people there, the sheriff come, they handle it, and the 99% of the time they'll come out and escort the person away and officially trespass them or arrest them or whatnot.
Right.
But again, it's because they're not playing. The homeless, which are required to play by their rules, aren't playing by their rules. But at this point, she don't know what to do with the general public with cameras. And if they're treating, again, I hate to say this, but if they're treating members of the public this way, people with cameras, how are they treating the homeless? Not very well, like the last homeless camp that I showed earlier in Texas on the first live stream. Go back and take a look at that, folks. And while you're at it, like, share, and subscribe to all of our channels. Thank you.
Are you guys 10-8 from the call, or are they still?
No, we're still on.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, dog. What's your name, man?
Oh, I don't give it.
Okay, cool. I'm Sergeant Gomez. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Gomez.
Still nothing about trespass.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We got to have body cameras, man.
Radios, cheap sunglasses, we got them all.
Dispatch, you know.
Have yet, folks, is tyrant shields.
Yeah, the 1222 realized. They said that they're 10-8 from the call, so I'm going to walk back over there. They asked for my name, but I refused. What's up, bro? Of course they do. How you doing, man?
All right.
Yeah, of course they get
I'm
mad.
just acting right.
Yeah, but
because I seen how you handled it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, I need to get with something like that.
Yeah.
That's what I've been trying to do.
Yeah, it's your right to record the police. Anything like public property, county property, arena, city property, you can record.
Okay.
Yeah. Even if they tell you you can't, it's your lawful right. You can do it. So.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so I know.
Ended on a lesson there, folks. A very good lesson. So let's go back to the video where, again, he said that you were trespassed last time. It was
That was last time.
You guys left before we did. Remember?
That's not
Everybody
how it
left before we did. We stood right here. Remember?
Yeah, and then you left, and then we left after you left. But
I
that's
thought
neither
they.
here or there.
Well, Reno PD cleared out.
Yeah.
You were over there talking. You were over
Yeah, I
there
went back
talking
over there and
with
recorded.
So that's
Yeah.
last time. So this time, you're back there. They asked you to leave.
for subscribing to both
And
channels.
according
Don't
to
forget
that,
Sacramento Community
right
Watch.
there, they're going to fill out statements that you guys refused to leave.
We're all Sacramento.
But it's
Community.
public property.
You know this.
You're not residents. It's public property per se. It's a public
Up to that
facility.
second gate.
They
up to
told
the
us
second
to
gate
the
where they have
second gate.
controlled
It's
access.
controlled access.
Did you see the filming there? The sign?
You mean the one that's eliminated by paper?
homemade one
That's
that they just made?
that's invalid.
It's
So, folks, I need to let you know about signs. Government can't just post a sign that says no recording. You know, I mean, I got a new policy up here that says common sense, you know, is required. If you don't have it, please leave. But just because the government puts up a sign that says no cameras, no filming, or whatever, unless it has a state statute or a federal statute or some law it can point to, it's just as valid as the toilet paper in their bathrooms, folks. It really is. So that's the problem. And I want to point out, folks, that we didn't have this video to show at the very beginning, but this is before the cops came out. This is Allied having an argument with themselves, and basically validating our argument.
This is public property.
You got a copy?
Hello.
How you doing, man? Who, us? Yeah, it's public
You
property.
guys been here before, and I was told that you guys can't come back here. You guys been trespassed.
No.
No. Again, the left hand's not knowing what the right hands are doing here, folks.
Okay, so Washoe
You got a
County came
radio.
out.
Can I update her real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
They have clearance technically to go.
She got one of them 1816 radios with the little cord and briefcase. You got to fold it up, and she got one of them military radios right there.
I was going to refrain from saying anything, but I'm surprised that she can guard the candy bowl.
Oh, she got a candy bowl.
She can guard a candy bowl all day long.
A whole platter of nachos.
to be quite honest, if she got a guard duty at at a candy factory, at Willy Wonka's candy factory, she would be in heaven.
We have clearance.
They don't go, as long as you guys don't go past the back
Never.
which I wouldn't advise.
Just don't go past the back gate.
Some weird ass people back there, bro.
We don't break the law, dude.
Yeah, we don't mean to
It's
cause
not
any harm or anything like that. We're just here documenting a public property and make sure everybody's all right.
right.
Yeah. First Amendment audits.
So, yeah, I mean, one of the security guards even told them, you know, they're allowed to go all the way up to the back gate as long as they don't go past the back gate.
Worth as much as the paper is printed on. You know that.
So
You know that,
before we
Deputy.
get to the bottom of the day, let me just get the big umbrella of what's going on. What is your ultimate goal?
First Amendment audit.
Do you know?
We've got complaints about this place.
You understand?
So that's why we're here revisiting.
Educating the staff on the fact that we have
We've been
a First Amendment right to record in public, no matter where we're at, as long as it's public.
Yeah, I'm not saying you can't record.
That's
I'm
all.
just saying,
That's our only point.
I mean, you know, if you
So
wanted to do
we're-
a documentary.
We went to the Youth Parole Bureau today.
Okay.
We also went to the
Washoe
U.S.
County.
Probation and the Washoe County School District as well today. No difference between here and
issues
there.
on public
or Washoe
property.
County.
Okay.
As
So-
long as there's not a key card there or a door that we can't just walk through, it's
Yeah,
public.
it says
Right.
back there is restricted, and we'd never.
Now they've got a gate and
with
a
security back
Connex
there.
box out
Yep.
there that they use to check all the IDs and keep people out of the housing areas.
Agreed.
And I don't have a problem staying out of the area
Which
that
we
you
do,
have to have
because
an
we're not
ID
breaking the law. We don't wanna break
or
the
check
law.
in for.
So if that sign was
But-
right here,
This is all public.
There is a no trespassing sign right there.
You're talking about the homemade one?
You're talking about
No, the
the
red-
eliminated?
Right one with the red labeling on looks like every other no
That's that way.
trespassing sign.
Yeah, that way.
No, it's right there.
What are you talking about?
Go walk up to the gate, look. It's right there. The gate that you guys would pass, the one right there with the lights?
There's no trespassing.
Yeah, there is. It says no trespassing right there. So that's the one you guys were behind, correct?
I was over there. Yes.
Now we're
The other thing is, folks, is they have to have it properly and prominently displayed. If it's on the side of something, it doesn't count. You know, they got to have it prominently displayed.
Again, as the GIS survey has already proven, it says that is county property, period.
And the street is city property.
Right.
And if the sheriffs don't know how signs work, especially lawfully, they need to be re-educated. And I always say that they need to train the law enforcement officers more in the law, put the law back in law enforcement officers.
Right.
clear that you guys are absolutely trespassing, right?
Nope.
Okay. So
If you had one citizen in there,
Nope.
I don't care whether it says no trespassing or not. If you had one citizen in there, you have to let all citizens in. Any member of the public walks through there
if they're part of
unchecked.
the facility.
Nobody knows that when they go past this gate. Nobody checks at this first gate. Nobody checks at this first gate to see whether.
And it looks pretty
One
bad.
right there.
It looks pretty bad to see so many people on the sidewalk outside the shelter with covers and wheelchairs and bags and stuff. I mean, come on.
I gotta pull that up. Okay, so let me pull that up real quick. 2 News Nevada did this, and this is what I was wanting to show the last time. So let me show my screen here on the Cares Campus. I couldn't download this video, and this is what I really wanted to show you last time.
Experience elevated living at The Overlook, Northwest Reno's newest modern luxury apartments. Newly constructed 1, 2, and 3 bedroom floor plans featuring modern, innovative interiors.
Yep, sorry, folks, for the ads.
Comfort and elevated lifestyle. Rent includes smart home features, direct TV, and all appliances, including washer and dryer. New residents will receive 2 months free rent with a 14-month lease agreement. The Overlook at Keystone Canyon. Experience elevated living.
You may recall we first reported
Wow.
the Cares Campus opened up 80 emergency overflow beds in its newly constructed resource center. 2 weeks ago, it closed those beds.
Now, some people who were staying in the emergency overflow are now setting up camp on the streets or on the train tracks. Faith Justice is here in the studio with us after speaking with the county today. All right, Faith, why did the shelter close the overflow?
Well, the shelter says that overflow is meant to be a temporary solution during the cold winter months where it's dangerous for people to sleep outside. A spokesperson also told us are available beds in the shelter.
There are still beds open in the main shelter. There were 12 beds when I looked this morning, so there is still room for people. The overflow shelter was really intended to be that, you know, if you just need to get off the street for the night because it's really cold outside, there's a place to go.
The county says that demand for overflow has been high. The 80 available beds have been full since they opened them up. Now, this does beg the question, why are people who were sleeping in overflow now opting to sleep outside when beds are available in the shelter? One reason might be that, unlike overflow, the main shelter has expectations, requirements.
When you go into the Cares Campus and you accept a bed there, certainly there's an expectation that you will follow the rules and hopefully be working toward some sort of improvement in your situation.
Now, we did speak with people living at the Cares Campus about overflow closing. We'll have their thoughts coming up at 5 o'clock, and we'll talk about something else that the county discovered that made them feel confident that closing overflow was the right decision.
I tried to find that 10 o'clock report, but I wasn't able to find it. So I do apologize that we don't have that information. But yeah, they're not helping anybody. And why close temporary beds when there's a demand for them? You know, there's people out on the street in front of your homeless shelter. You know, you guys need to do better.
They're not. That's all public.
They check here.
No, they don't.
They don't?
They don't.
She was told that
They don't check anything here. They wouldn't have even noted. They wouldn't have even known I was on property.
Shout out to Lieutenant Chance right there. One of our road warriors right there.
With the camera, if I hadn't stuck it in her face when I walked by.
One at a time.
Time out. Listen, told us that they've been informed that we were able to go in there to the back, not past the trailer.
Right. Is it true that right when we got here, this lady was informed
that we could
go
all
the way?
One of the other security guards came up and informed her, one that was here last time.
And then she said you can go back to the other gate.
Yes, as long as we don't go back
The young man that was working in here.
All right, so hold on.
Came out and talked to her.
So we were led to go back there by them telling us that as long as we don't go back there.
Okay.
And then after that.
Perfect. So he's going to verify the information because you wouldn't be lying to me, right?
No,
because
absolutely
as
not.
video cameras work both ways, right?
And if they would have done a proper investigation in the first place.
Yep. The unlawful arrest happened.
The unlawful detainment that you folks suffered because, you know, you didn't want to give your names because they were doing an investigation. You get the names after you get a detainment. You don't get names during an investigation. It doesn't work that way, officers.
She threw a fit, and then a younger man in the same uniform came up and spoke to her.
Okay.
And they went, okay.
All right. But you guys would acknowledge right now that there are the trespassing signs right here, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Would you all acknowledge that?
Yes.
Okay. And you were past that no trespassing sign?
Yes.
On the premise that this security guard over here, the female, told you guys could go all the way up to that gate.
Yes.
Okay. That is probably misinformation. So number one, I apologize, right? Because it's not your fault you were given misinformation.
Because
I don't know if you saw the sign.
What about the information on the GIS survey? What about that information? I think that would be very important information at this point, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, the GIS survey clearly says that it is public property, Washoe County property. They have a gate there that's raggedy, man.
The problem with that, Sacramento, is that they don't teach their officers the difference between private and public property. So even if there's legitimate trespassing there or whatnot, they don't know the difference between public and private property. And because they're a business, they're going to treat it as private property, and like any other of these government trespassing videos we've seen in First Amendment audits. And they're wrong because they don't know the difference between public and private property, and there's different rules when it comes to public property.
Absolutely.
And they don't. And again, they're not putting the law in law enforcement.
And my thing is,
if you read it,
I'm sorry.
It's not our job to distinguish what's right and wrong for them. Like, if they're county employees, government employees, they're supposed to be trained on this type of stuff. I mean, it's just crazy. We even have to deal with this type of thing. We have to remind these people over and over.
We have to teach them the law. because they don't know the law. And when you ask them what a lawful order, like we asked Tyrant Tony, it was, well, I told him to get back and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, and shout out to Tyrant, to Tony, Tony the Tyrant, whatever.
Oh, yeah, that was something that we were meaning to take care of during housekeeping. Shout out to Tony the Tyrant, our favorite tyrant watcher.
So he claimed that we only get 300 views on the video. Yeah, guess what, Satella? We got 300 views on the video that had you in it last. I guess people don't like you, buddy. Sorry. We tried, though. We did try. Hopefully you can give us a better video next time. Okay, sorry.
And Tony the Tyrant, I'm just letting you know, you're helping create content for the Sacramento Community Watch Network. If you just be quiet and do your job like you should have done in the first place on this unlawful arrest in Sacramento, you would not be YouTube famous, but you had to go and call him nosy.
Right.
And you create the content, Tony the Tyrant.
Not right. I'm not going to say.
No.
I can clearly say maybe you did. You should have.
I'm going to say to Reno PD, if you guys just respect us, we'll respect you. I mean, it doesn't really make sense for us to go back and forth. We're there to record and document the situation. Let us be. I mean, you guys are telling us stuff like, can you stand over there? Or can you scoot back over there? Can you jump that tree? Can you stand right? It doesn't work like that. It just doesn't work like that.
The best interaction with the police officer is when we have no interactions. Let us stand there. Let us record. And if you don't say a word,
we won't say a word.
We won't say a word, and we're going to put you out on the internet anyways and say, look at how well this officer did.
Right.
This is the stars that we're looking for. These are the people we want to shine. These are the ones who are helping our community, and we want the tyrants to fail.
Shout out to Officer Knox and Van Dyke and Nick. Those are some of the cool officers out here. We run into them, and those guys are cool. So shout out to those officers and Gaultier too. So I had to mention you, bro. I had to mention you.
Saying you did or
but
you
would
did
that
not.
be for the vehicle? Because it's not on the
It's for
sidewalk.
everything. So they want to keep this a secure facility. So people that do not belong, we got a lot of people that are here that sometimes in a domestic violence situation, households, we don't want their abusers coming here and attacking them, stuff like that, right?
I understand.
Why isn't the first line of security? Why isn't the first line of security doing their job? Why aren't they carding these people before they get back to the second one? Why aren't they recording visitors who are going past? Why aren't they putting up the proper signage to keep people out?
Oh, sorry, guys.
It's not their property.
One of our field operatives are out there. Go ahead for radio.
Signal 2, feature been here 2 times.
Copy unit 2 times.
Yes, we're always watching, folks. We always got people out there looking.
So that's why there's security. I don't think you're trying to cause an issue. But this is the second time you guys come, and I think you just scare them, and then they call the police, and then here we are, right?
Have them properly trained on what to do when people come with cameras. Stalker. They didn't learn the first time.
Look at the cute little puppy down there. Aw.
And I'm not trying to curtail you guys from doing anything.
Just want
Like if there is stuff going on in there that we
have a First Amendment, that we have a right.
Is the gate open?
Yeah.
Yes. Wide open. Did she come out and try to get you guys to leave?
Yeah,
Yes.
and the other officer.
And then another security guard came up and informed
So
her
she
of her
told me
mistake.
all that. Right. Well, what's important, right? What's important is telling the truth. She works here. She tells you to leave. You gotta leave.
Wrong.
You
No.
can tell it's from public property. I mean, they might as well give the gate key to anybody, you know?
First of all, just because Allied Security works there doesn't give her the authority to trespass people off of public property. Not even Sabrina the teenage Karen has the authority to trespass somebody off of public property.
Yeah, this stuff goes to their head. It just makes no sense. Get out of here. This is my property. Like, no, it's not. Find
But you know what? You know what, deputies, just
From public property.
Right. We all
That's
just
the number
agreed.
crime.
Look, we all just agreed that's what occurred. That's what she said occurred. So everyone's in agreement that they asked you to leave. Then you walk past the sign that says no trespassing.
Minus the fact that it's public property.
That she
Hey, shout out to Deputy Osborne too. He was pretty cool too. That guy right there in the picture right there with the tattoo. He was pretty cool. He wasn't trying to escalate much.
He asked you to leave and you guys didn't.
You got it all wrong, because it's public property.
Okay, so
If it was private property and they asked us to leave, we'd have been gone. It's public property. They don't have to commit a crime to be trespassing public property.
It's a public street, right?
Right.
But if you're in the middle of the street obstructing traffic.
And did anybody notice that Deputy Key right there has ID right there on his next to his taser? Wasn't ours.
Want to point out that standing out in the middle of the street. Everybody on this road is standing out in the middle of the street because no cars can go back there. There is no traffic. Why are they bringing up irrelevant information such as this? It's just downright stupid. It's a waste of time.
I was just about to say that. Funny.
That's a crime. An issue, right?
It's an infraction.
It's an infraction, correct. So same like this. It's kind of a misdemeanor, low-level misdemeanor crime when you're trespassing somewhere, asked to leave, and you refuse to leave. It's trespassing, right?
Only if they.
Again, they confuse the rules for public and private property when it comes to trespassing. They generalize trespassing like, oh, they asked you to leave, you got to leave. It's just like if you were to go into the police station, into their lobby, if they ask you to leave, you got to leave. No, that's not how it works.
Yeah, absent of a crime. Absent of a crime, huh?
Absent of a crime, they cannot ask you to leave public property if it's open to the public, unless it's restricted. If it's restricted, they can ask you to leave, but that area was not properly restricted.
You come to my house and sell Girl Scout cookies.
That's private property.
But you can. I ask you to leave.
That's private.
You don't leave. You can be in front of my house tormenting.
That's private property. If I'm standing on the sidewalk in front of your house, you can't tell me to leave.
Yes.
Well, nighttime, daytime right now. It's evening right now. No. Can I go right now and go kick someone out?
But you have signs there and you're behind no trespassing.
Was that gate? Were both those gates wide open when we walked in?
I don't know.
Yes, they were.
I trust you saying yes.
Gates were wide open. I'm not walking through a closed gate.
Yeah,
I'm not walking past a checkpoint that says I have to give ID.
So here's where we're at.
So it's public.
Okay, here's where we're at. We have a misdemeanor offense based on a complaint saying you did not leave when you were asked to leave, right? Whether you believe that's public property right here or not,
we know it is.
That's for a court to decide.
No, it's for you to do a proper investigation and verify it, because guess what? If you do arrest him while he's recording, it's a civil rights violation, and a federal court's going to come in and tell you you're wrong. And guess what? Your qualified immunity goes bye-bye, and then you wind up becoming a gypsy cop because you turn into a tyrant. You learn the law, officer. Learn thy law.
They have no trespassing signs. You were behind the no trespassing signs, whether you were given this information at first, but then asked to leave, and you guys refused to leave because you want to film. And I understand that. I have no problem with you guys filming if it's done correctly. You can film all day here, but once you pass that fence, especially where it says no trespassing, because the signage is not very clear, it's kind of hard, but that red sign is pretty damn
Do you have the video of last night when they showed us this sign?
That sign and you said no trespassing, you're trespassing.
Because
right?
that's insane.
If you believe they should make this public property and that trespassing sign shouldn't be there, that's not for me to decide. That's for a court to decide, right?
You don't make public property unless you take private property. But if it's already public, it's already public.
Right.
It's their job to. There's three types of public property. There is open public property. There is limited access public property, and there is restricted public property.
Right.
Open to the public is parks and
recreation,
recreation, the streets and everything like that.
State parks, stuff like that. Tennis courts,
stuff like that. So then there's limited access, which means that there's a time, place, and manner restriction. So those are things like the Washoe County Sheriff's Office,
right. Social Security Office. Social Security Office, anywhere, the DMV, anywhere the public's allowed to go, you're allowed to go with a camera and record. And then there's restricted public property. The restricted public property, you are not allowed to get into. It is their job to put no trespassing signs up there. It's their job to put key cards and accesses in to where the public can't get past it. And if the public meanders past it because you didn't have your proper protocols in place, you can't trespass them. And then once they leave that area, then you can resecure it. But until the public leaves, it's open to the public, folks.
Then you have a complainant who was willing to sign a citation for trespassing based on the fact that you were asked to leave and you didn't leave.
So
It's a
you can
citable offense
be
and an
trespassed
arrestable offense. Yes.
on
Hold on, man. Hold on.
public property.
Public servants, though, cannot be a complaining party to a trespass.
Yes.
No.
We're not going down the arrest route because that's silly, number one. So they're going to sign what they call a citation. You guys have to give us your identity so we can give you the said citation. You can fight it all day in court. Okay? And then you will go to court and say, I was behind the fence, was asked to leave, yes. I did see the sign, but I believe that's public property. The judge can side with you and say, you're 100% correct, case dismissed. Or he can say, no, you're in the wrong, and then does whatever he or she wants to do on the bench.
So what would wind up happening in this instance is that they would take their county prosecuting attorney buddies, go in front of the county court, in front of a county judge, who all of them get paid by the county and are there to try to support the county and back up the county. And they're just going to go ahead and side with the officer because why? Oh, everything that the officer says must be true because, they're good people, and there might be only a few bad apples in the bunch, but it's very rare that it happens. But I'm sorry, folks, if you have one bad apple amongst a bushel of them and nobody else reports that bad apple, guess what? You have a bushel of bad apples.
But that's where we're at now. It's a misdemeanor that did not occur in law enforcement presence. We're just here to effect the citation and or arrest. Like I said, not arrested. So all I need is you to identify yourselves through identity to my deputies so they can issue the citation and we will an arrest. And then we'll be on our way. You guys can hang out here all night long, film whatever you want. And I'll even go one further. I will get you in touch. It looks like you're probably the leader, organizer.
I'm the chief.
I will get you in touch with the regional manager of the facility. Maybe see if we can.
He still wants that ID cookie. Oh my goodness, they are so addicted to that ID cookie.
His name's Benjamin West. I'll give you his email address. I don't have his personal phone number. I can find his work cell for you or work phone. And then maybe get a public tour. Maybe get permission to video inside there. You maybe just have to blur people's faces out.
Hey, girl, please reach out to us at Sacramento Community Watch at gmail.com. We'd be more than happy to take a look and be an advocate.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't want to go inside. Okay. That's the thing.
We just
you're trying to force us back in somewhere that we weren't.
Maybe we'll make some good changes by this. Maybe we'll bring that fence line right there where it says Care Campus entrance on the board, where it can say no trespassing.
And folks, stay tuned. They eventually do correct their failure here, so we'll show that as well.
And then we get a good effect.
So you're telling me after this, it's private?
And where it says a no trespassing sign, I would say that's a private facility where you have the fence there.
So it's no longer Washoe County either.
Anybody
It's
can
not
walk
Washoe
in and
County,
out.
but anybody else can
Anybody
put
all
what
day.
they do.
Walking in and out.
Anybody all day and all night walks in and out of that gate.
Right.
Whether or not security does their job and keeps people out is not the issue. The issue is
The whole issue. That's the whole issue. The security guards are supposed to be keeping that area safe and secure so that the homeless are protected. And
Yeah, isn't it the Cares Campus? Do they care about security? I mean, wow.
Apparently they
the
don't.
Allied security guards on staff.
Jeez.
The issue is if anybody can walk in and out, I can walk in with a camera.
the issue is you were asked to leave and you did not leave. Is actually,
and then we're
Don't
now
have
we're
to-
trespassing.
Again, the issue is that the public servants do not enjoy the right of trespass from public property. And if they do not have it properly marked as private restricted government property, then therefore it is open to the public and it's null and everything they're saying is null and void.
You can't kick
public
someone out of
property.
public property.
You can't tell me to leave my property.
And he still got the ID.
That's
like-
We pay. We're citizens here in the city.
You can't tell me to get off the sidewalk.
can you stay in a public building after hours when they close?
when they close. Time, place, and manner. It's wide open.
You guys are going in
Time, place, and manner. It's wide open.
Like we all know.
But nothing trumps the first. Nothing trumps
I
our
can just walk
our
up in
rights.
a library, a public library, and kick anyone out.
But
yeah. You're saying I can't record a place where I can be.
There's another gate back there.
So that was the end of that video. So let's see here. We're going to go and play number 3 here.
Your guys' speech. The issue is trespassing.
The issue is the camera.
That's not the issue.
Yeah.
It's the only reason they asked us.
Yes, it is.
no, they're telling us that because we can record. That's what she told us. We can't record.
What about
Xander, it was only the camera, right?
Always. It's only the camera, always the camera. If I had walked by without the camera, she wouldn't give me a second look. But I pointed the camera at her, and that is, of course, what triggered her, because, God, who wants what? I know she does not have a mirror in her house.
if I need
Right.
Inside.
You see what I mean?
That is not a criminal offense.
You know what I mean?
That's administrative.
I can't go ask for help.
You can, but you won't go there. You'll go over yours.
See what I mean?
They can't ask me to leave because of my camera. That's a First Amendment violation.
It's like a
It's a
hotel. You guys know
constitutionally
it.
protected
Check it.
activity.
Well,
If I can be there.
Yes. I used to think the same thing, and the common thing that we hear in the first community, or common saying that we say here in the First Amendment auditing community, is back the blue until it happens to you.
Right.
I mean, it is true. You know, there is so many injustices happening because they hide under the qualified immunity, and they do not put the law in law enforcement. You know, they're supposed to be law enforcement, but they don't train them in law. And the most that they ever train them in law is probably about a week in DWI training. And then after that, it's probably maybe eight to hours, maybe a week's worth of training across the board and everything that they are supposed to do in their job. They don't train them in the Constitution. They don't train them on federal law. They don't train them in local law. They just train them on guns.
Maybe like 11 minutes on the Constitution, probably. Maybe 7 to 11 minutes. They teach them on the Constitution. I give them that.
I got a PowerPoint from Washoe County on their training on First Amendment or on Constitution, and it's just sad. It really is, folks. And we need to, if we got time, I might pull it up tonight.
I'm going to know if I'm getting harassed like this.
Nobody gets checked at this gate.
Yeah, this is definitely harassment. Definitely. That is funny.
Be there. I can record there. They can't legally do the Constitution. They can't legally ask me to leave.
Worried about us, got all that trash on the ground.
Yeah.
Look at it. Taco boxes, nacho boxes, burger boxes, wrappers. And they worried about us with the cameras. I bet.
Filming. Okay. That's what they're doing. They can't trespass me for filming. That's a constitutional violation.
We never went back there.
He's talking about past the back gate. The back.
So I don't know why
They can't trespass me because of my camera. If I didn't have a camera, they wouldn't have said a word to me.
What do you mean?
Not one word.
I don't know. I'm not there with no interaction.
I know that I went in a public area and never went past houses.
Yeah, because they said that's forbidden. We can't go past that gate. We're clear on that.
Until you get to
That's why they let us go back.
The only reason they're asking us to leave is the camera, and they cannot legally do that.
When you tried to,
You should know that.
No, you tried to.
You know they can't kick us off the public property.
Like the story you just changed.
This is exactly what they're doing.
Right. We're not doing anything illegal ever, will we?
I'm not taking a trespass.
You know that.
Yeah, I'm definitely not taking a trespass
You
either.
can't tell me to leave my camera.
You
guys, they have to have a valid reason.
Nope, I didn't want that trespass. How about you, Xander?
I wasn't taking it. That's why I kept telling him, no.
Yeah, I mean, I still feel like it was a violation of our rights, like hands down. Like, how are you trying to trespass us from public property? We just looked at the GIS survey. All of those properties are Washoe County property.
Except for the street all the way back.
Yeah, the street is city property, and they made that clear last time. Well, Reno police made that clear last time. So
No, They still don't know. They think from their front gate it's county. It's not. That street all the way back to that back gate is city. It's what it says on the GIS. So that front gate is illegal. There's no legal markings for it. There's no markings for it on the map. It doesn't belong there. It shouldn't be in the middle of that street. That's city property all the way back to that second gate. But
right. So
what do I know?
I
just did GIS.
So what they should do eventually is the Cares Campus in Washoe County and Sparks and Reno, this is all a joint effort of all three government communities together to bring this homeless shelter together. What they should do is go back to the clerk and go, hey, we need to redo the GIS survey to where we now have this owned by the county and we can put these gates up. But until then, they're commandeering public streets. For no apparent reason other than for extra security, which they have a back gate, which they don't want the hordes of homeless rushing their gates apparently, so they have to set up a second gate. It makes no sense, folks. It just really doesn't.
Campus,
right?
And my camera can't be it.
I have it all right here.
You know that all these people are walking by. That's the concern.
Absolutely.
That since they can walk by, you should be able to walk right.
Yeah, right.
Even though you're not a resident, even though they're
It's going
residents.
to say that we were okay. Absolutely.
Nobody knows that.
Absolutely.
That's a good argument.
It's going to really show.
Oh, he admitted it. That's a good argument. So therefore, his reasonable articulable suspicion has gone away.
Mm-hmm.
He just admitted his razzes went away. Because they're not gone. His razz is gone. He has no more trespass. He admitted that he has no more razz of trespass.
They said we can go until
The gate.
If you don't belong, you don't belong.
Right.
And then all agreeing with that. Whether it's public or not. You have to
No,
walk.
they told us to leave
The gate's
first,
closed.
then told us to go all
The
the
gate
way
is closed.
back.
No, it's now. Yeah, I can show you that on camera as well. The gate wide open.
If you mind, please.
If they want to close the gate and tell me I can't be back there, hey, no problem.
So yeah, again, if they want to close the gate and don't want you back there, no problem. Exactly. They have to create the security, folks.
And I keep saying, who would deny a group of people with the vest on that says Community Watch? What else are we there to do? Blow a bomb or something? I mean, why would you deny Community Watch? Like we're the good guys. We're not trying to harm anybody. We're just watching the community, documenting, different incidents that involve our public servants. So it's just super sad. Super sad.
So after they closed the gates and all the police buckled and bounced at that point, then the team caught this.
Allied Universal, guys. Infamous. Don't know the laws.
Yeah, they just put the sign, switched it around, and put it at the front.
Yeah, they made it so it was clearly and prominently displayed, and it has the Reno Municipal Code on there. This is how a proper sign works, folks. You have no trespass. You put the municipal code underneath of it, and then you deal with it. So right here, they're stating Reno Municipal Code. So at this point, Washoe County Sheriff has no jurisdiction at this point. They should be calling Reno PD if they're quoting Reno Municipal Code.
Oh, speaking of, I want everybody to know that I did contact what's his name? Benjamin West with the Washoe County Cares Campus, and he hasn't even emailed me back. So we're gonna put up his information at the end so everybody can go ahead and file their own complaints, because this is crazy.
Yeah, and they need to have their Allied Universal. If we're paying 20 people from Allied Universal to guard the place, they can pick up trash while they're walking around with their hands in their pockets.
Right.
What's your name?
That's the chief. They're finally putting up signs, guys.
I don't know.
I guess they're attempting to.
Yeah, until they leave the gate open. So, like I want to say before, Recognizing Our Rights wound up featuring the video as well. And I just want to play the tail end of his video here as he kind of explains it. I like how he explains this.
Our interaction.
Right.
Okay? They're not gonna pursue charges for trespassing unless you do come back and again go down that rabbit hole. They'll move some signs and I give you that. I'm trying to find that guy's number for you.
Rabbit hole, huh?
Give you his number.
Oh, yeah.
Give him a call.
Yeah, absolutely.
His name is Benjamin West. Okay.
You see what I mean about how flippy-floppy this is? In the different ways they try to violate this man's rights? They go from trying to get his identification to trespassing him from what I believe to be public property. Again, I don't know if the Washoe County Cares Campus is considered public property. I tried to look it up and nothing would give me a straight answer. But assuming it was, that's a violation of Catrone v. City of St. Petersburg, not to take anything we say as legal advice. I really don't have much more to say about this interaction in particular. For now, I am going to leave contact information down below to this sheriff's office in Washoe County for all of you to hold accountable. As we always tell you, make sure to be as respectful as can be when you choose to contact them, but make sure to let them hear our roar just like the acronym of our channel states. And even more importantly, we want to see all of you go show some love and support to Sacramento Community Watch if you haven't done so already, by subscribing to his channel, staying tuned for updates, seeing what comes next, and let him know the Recognizing Our Rights said hello. And also...
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Recognizing Our Rights.
Shout out to Recognizing Our Rights.
Shout out to you and thanks for shouting us out. Greatly appreciate it. We do ask you folks to take a few moments here to like, share, and subscribe to all of our content, both at Reno News Now, Sacramento Community Watch, and Xander the Educator's channel as well.
We did have another auditor that also shown that video as well. I just don't remember his name. I'll wait until Xander comes back into the screen. Actually, if I remember.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can find that that slide deck from Washoe County that I mentioned here. I think it's in my resource folder. Maybe it's I do apologize. I was trying to get the content and everything lined up, and now we got that it. Let's see here. Where did it go? Community assets, I think. There we go. Is this it? Let me just double check here. Yeah, I think this might be it. I know what we can do in the meantime. Let me pull that up here while it's loading. Oh yeah, this is it. Okay, so yeah, let me pull this up first real quick.
Thank you, Evelia Jill. Hope I said that right. Thank you for watching.
So just want to point out to you folks that here is our wall of tyrants. Again, we have our first tyrant, Christian Hoyt. Please go back into the Sacramento Community Watch videos and find this tyrant and see what he did. It is just remarkable that he was apparently interfering with an investigation while just recording. And then we have Tony the Tyrant, Anthony Sotelo, our biggest viewer in our Tyrant series. He likes to watch our content. Big shout out to him. Thank you for all the watch hours and helping our community grow and adding to the algorithm. And then recently from these videos, we have Deputy Key. So I'm going to go ahead and, I do have it in here. So here is the slide deck.
Thank you so much, Mary Ortega.
Yes, Mary Ortega, yeah.
And you did not seem like the bad guy. You were not the bad guy.
We love it whenever we run into the community and they see us here. So
right.
Just want to point out that when I did do a FOIA request on this slide deck, it was trying to get some other information from Reno PD on how they train. And they sent me a screenshot of one of the slides in here, and then I requested the whole thing. And then the the attorney's office was basically telling me that this is copyrighted material. And I responded back to her or them that unfortunately government FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, cannot be copyrighted. And that by them releasing it, it relieves them of the copyright. And on top of that, this is fair use under news and advertising purposes. So therefore, yeah, her point is mute, and she needs to go back and read her law book and figure that and stick to what she does best, which is prosecuting people rather than trying to defend a copyright claim here.
Absolutely.
So principles of constitutional law, abuse of power is best avoided by separating and blending power through a system of checks and balances. The three branches are legislative, executive, which encompasses law enforcement, and judicial. Division of power, federal law supersedes inconsistent state law, i.e. recreational marijuana. Bill of Rights. I mean, again, this is what they're training people. High-level overview on this stuff. Encompasses the first 10 amendments. Purpose to protect the individual from infringements on freedom by the federal government. No, this is wrong, folks. It's not by the federal government. It's by all government, all the way down to local municipalities. The Bill of Rights is to protect you, the person, from them, the government. The Bill of Rights applies to the states through the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment. Okay, so here's how they cover the First Amendment. Protections of freedom of expression, religion, speech, assembly, press, but they're forgetting one. They only cover 4 out of the 5. What are they missing, folks? What are they missing? Redress of grievances of our government.
Yep.
How
did they forget
yeah.
How did they forget that? I'm confused.
How did they forget that? Yeah, I mean, they're the government. It's redress agreement. There's 5 elements, and they haven't. And they last updated this on 8/2 of 2021. So they haven't probably updated this in 3 years, and they have it wrong right from the beginning. I would put redress of government and the in there as well and talk about that. So freedom of speech. The First Amendment guarantees but does not define freedom of speech. The hallmark of free speech is to allow the free trades of ideas. Applies to speech in a public forum, not on private property. And then traditional public forums, streets, sidewalks, and park. That's what a traditional public. You see how they briefly touch on this. This is slide 5 into probably a 20-minute slideshow, and they only cover traditional public forums.
Wow, that's it?
That's it. So types of speech: symbolic speech, refusing to stand for the national anthem, wearing a motorcycle club colors, political hats and shirts. Compelled speech: schools cannot force children to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. West Virginia State Board of Education versus Barnett. What about protected speech? What about redressing government of grievances? So regulating speech here, folks. Content neutral, time, place, and manner, constitutional because they are not regulating the content of speech. Now, every time you see speech here, you can put press here as well, and press includes cameras, folks. So again, those 5 things in the Constitution that redress our government, any of those 5 things can be replaced speech in here, as one of the 5. And then
religion.
Yeah, religion. It is unconstitutional to prohibit speech based upon the content of speech. Into which category does the wild orchid sign fall? Now, folks, down here in Reno, the Wild Orchid, in case you guys don't know this or haven't been to Reno, is basically an adult show. It's what we used to term in the help desk that I used to work for as the shoe show. So what they're advertising that sort of thing in a tasteful manner. So, so they're kind of asking, is it content neutral or content specific when it comes to the sign of that nature? Okay, so Reno Municipal Code 8.30.040, time, place, and manner. It shall be unlawful for any person in a public place to solicit in violation of the following rules. Solicitation shall not be made within 20 feet of any door or driveway within a commercial or industrial zone, 20 feet of any automatic teller machine, in any public transportation vehicle, within 20 feet of any designated posted transportation vehicle stop or crosswalk, in any indoor or outdoor dining area, in any public restroom, obstruct pedestrian or vehicular traffic. A solicitor shall not conduct solicitation in violation of a manner that violates ordinance, rule, and statute. Okay, so they're talking about soliciting or selling things here, folks. This is about time, place, and manner. And all of this is kind of reasonable. You don't want people trying to sell you a watch while you're within 20 feet of an ATM. You're trying to put your PIN number in. You're expecting a little bit of privacy while you're out in public in front of an ATM, but not total privacy, you know. So these are all reasonable restrictions on time, place, and manner to some extent. Solicit or solicitation includes any request for or enticement or any action which communicates a request for any donation or provision of funds, goods, or other property. Shall not include the act of passively standing, sitting, or engaging performance art with a sign or other indication that a donation is being sought without any vocal request. So again, time, place, and manner. I mean, this kind of seems... It's starting to seem a little bit sketchy here, but I don't know if this is part of the law or not, or them trying to explain it. Northern Nevada Cop Blocks owns officer while chalking the police. So they're giving an example here of a video that I don't have queued up. So we're just going to pass on that. Okay, so here's the First Amendment exceptions. Now we're getting back into First Amendment content here, and this is slide 11, folks. So threats of violence are not protected. Again, if you guys do redress your grievances with your governments, we do not condone any acts or threats of violence, folks. So please do redress your government peacefully and with some modicum of respect, but do not use threats, force, or violence, please, guys. It's not cool. So incitement, intentional incitement to an imminent lawless action may be suppressed based upon content of speech. So you don't want to incite or write it. And then fighting words, including personally abusive epithets, which are inherently likely to provoke a violent reaction, like Sacramento, I'm going to kick your butt from here to Sacramento. You know, those are fighting words. You don't want to use those guys. You know, what's the burning the cross versus burning the flag? You know, again, they're pointing to another cop block website. So Second Amendment. See how much they covered the First Amendment? 13 slides for the First Amendment. And they don't even cover redressing your government of grievances at all. It's just, they don't really cover the press within the First Amendment. I mean, there's just, you know, cop watchers. They need to update
very simple slideshow here. Very simple. Almost thrift store.
Exactly. So the Second Amendment protects an individual's rights to possess a firearm unconnected with the service and a militia to use that firearm for traditionally lawful purposes such as self-defense within the home. And that comes from District of Columbia versus Heller. And look at how they put the Fourth, Fifth, and Sixth Amendment in here, folks. This is the Fourth Amendment is right to persons, papers, and effects. The Fifth Amendment is Xander can't help me out here. I know Sixth is the lawyer. The fifth one is escaping me.
The Fifth Amendment is the right to not incriminate yourself.
Right. Plead the fifth, yeah, not to incriminate yourself. The fourth is to be secure in your person's papers and effects, and the sixth is the lawyer. So balancing competing interests. Government's interest in investigating and prosecuting a crime, and an individual's interest in privacy, dignity, and attorney and fair treatment. So the Fourth Amendment, this is how they're covering the Constitution, folks. Fourth Amendment, search and seizure. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause or supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized, in response to British general writs of assistance. The purpose of the Fourth Amendment is to protect the legitimate expectations of people's privacy and security. Cats versus the United States. Does the person have a reasonable expectation of privacy? They just put that out as a question to the class here, folks. A person has no expectation of privacy in an abandoned property, and therefore warrantless searches and seizures of abandoned property do not violate the Fourth Amendment.
But what about if you have expectation of privacy in public?
Yeah.
They didn't mention that. What about the expectation of privacy in public? So they don't know to tell the people, the public people, that oh, okay, this person has every right to record in public. That's his constitutional rights. They're not going to say that. They just say the person has no expectation of privacy in abandoned property, and therefore warrantless searches and seizures of abandoned property do not violate the Fourth Amendment. That's it. That's all.
It should say people also do not have any expectation of privacy in public as well. I mean, that's that the fair use, the plain view doctrine, for instance, probable cause, enough particularized facts to lead to common sense person of a reasonable caution to believe that there is a fair probability of criminal activity. Probable cause, reasonable expectation, or totality of the circumstances. That's a tyrant word that they love to use. Totality of the circumstances. Deference to police officers' experience, and PC, probable cause as it relates to questions of identity. Must have specific information which ties a suspect to a crime, i.e. a physical description of the suspect. So right here, they're basically saying you have to have probable cause as it relates to questions of identity. So, you've got to have a crime is what they're saying here, folks, and which is true. So case study 1. During a traffic stop, an officer finds drugs under the front passenger seat. The driver is a registered owner of the car, and there are 5 occupants. Who does the officer have probable cause to arrest for the drugs? Well, it depends on where they find it. If they found it underneath the driver, more around the driver than the other passengers, then it would be the driver. But
under the front passenger seat. Did he have probable cause to search the car? I think I'm throwing the whole thing out because I don't think he had probable cause or permission to search the car.
Well, especially during a traffic stop, it doesn't say what type of traffic stop, or if it was confirmed that they, had a reason to pull him over in the first place. So here's what they're saying. Obtaining a search warrant. A search or seizure is presumed unreasonable in the absence of a warrant based upon probable cause. There is a perception of unreasonableness for all warrantless home entries. An officer must apply for a warrant from a judge by setting forth the facts that support finding a probable cause. An officer must describe with reasonable particularly location of to be searched and things to be seized. So I want to go back to this first one here, or the second one here. There is a presumption of unreasonableness for all warrantless home entries, but the moment you open the door, that pig can put his foot in it. And they show it all over the internet, them doing
that. Yeah, when they put their foot in the door.
Yeah, because at that point, they're searching for any probable cause just to bust open that door and go full time into that home.
And the audacity that some of these officers who literally put their cheap boot in the door, preventing somebody from closing their own front door. That is just like.
And if you try closing the door on them with their foot in the door,
violation, they know it is. But if you slam the door, then you're resisting with force.
bully tactics. What would happen if
the door?
What would happen if somebody did that to them? Somebody put their foot in their door and prevented them from closing their door. It'll be a problem. They will be on the radio calling for every unit available on shift, letting them know that there's a guy with their foot in their door.
Be a shootout.
Yep.
Have you seen what Long Island Audit has done recently with the video truck?
Oh, parking in that spot where the taco truck parked?
Well, before that,
Yep.
before that though, he rented a video truck.
No, he bought one.
No, he bought one eventually, but the first time around, he rented a truck and he took it to the police county commissioner out there in New York, one of them, Patrick Cycle Rider, took it in front of his house and had the billboard going. And then the cops were coming in and full force, like you said, and all this other stuff. But yeah, recently he actually did buy a billboard truck, a video billboard truck, and he took it out in front of the New York State Police or Connecticut State Police about another tyrant, and where a taco truck would park, and it's just so stupid. There's so many civil rights violations going on there, folks. Go check out Audit. And while you're at it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to all of our channels. All the links are in the descriptions, folks. So, okay, the scope of search. The scope of search is limited to places in which items described in the warrant may be reasonably concealed, miles versus state, i.e. you can't search for a gun in a bank envelope.
You can't search for a suspect in the junk drawer.
Exactly. Exceptions to the warrant requirement. One is plain view, like a crime has been committed in plain view. That's the reason why they put the foot in the door, so that way they can try to get a plain view exception. Public arrests, again, you're out in public. Exigent circumstances, like the cop knows that there's somebody, can hear somebody screaming in the back that they're tied up and they need help. Stop and frisk, but again, you need reasonable suspicion of a crime. Again, they forget of a crime, folks. Reasonable, articulable suspicion of a crime.
Now, why wouldn't they put that there? Why would they miss that?
They needed the space. It would have looked bad.
They could have made the word smaller.
Search incident to an arrest and automobile exception and consent, where again, do not give consent to them searching your vehicle or your home, folks. Never give consent. Make them get that warrant. They're always quick to get that ID cookie. Go make them get the warrant cake, okay? So plain view. Police can seize an object without a warrant under the plain view doctrine if evidence is in plain view, officer has lawful access to evidence, it's immediately apparent that the item is contraband or evidence, i.e. the crack pipe sitting in the passenger seat. The rugs in the passenger seat, folks, Again, that's the plain view. Cops use it every day, all day long, traffic offenses to try to get you out of the vehicle because you got something in your car you shouldn't have, Case study number 2. Officers entered an apartment looking for a shooter. While walking through the apartment, they saw a stereo equipment and suspected that the equipment was stolen. The officer moved a turntable. Who uses a turntable? I'm sorry, is this the 70s and 80s? This is 2021, folks, according to this slide. Oh my gosh. Okay. The officer moved the turntable to read the serial number, which led to information that the turntable had been taken in an armed robbery. Is this a search? Does it fall under the plain view doctrine? That's a good question.
Move it. He was not looking for stolen property, and he had to move the box. Double strike.
I wish they would give the answers that they're giving to these officers in here. Tried asking for them, and they go, we don't have them written out, so you're not going to get them. So public arrest, number 2. For a public arrest, an officer does not need a warrant. He can determine for himself whether probable cause exists to support the arrest. U.S. versus Watson. The majority of your arrests will fall into this category. You see how they're emphasizing this? This is horrible. Yes, it may be that, but again, you've got to stick to the law and the Constitution, folks. Defendant is entitled to a hearing by a judge within 72 hours of arrest. NRS 171-178. Okay, exigent circumstances. Exigent circumstances apply when harmful consequences would occur within the time it takes to obtain a warrant. hot pursuit, a fleeing suspect, rationale, suspect may seek to escape, destroy evidence, or create a threat to public safety. Again, the cop knocks at the home, hears somebody yelling for help via the exigent circumstances. Case study number 3. Officers respond to a report of a car being driven into a ditch. Witnesses state that the defendant was driving recklessly. Officers respond to an address listed on the DMV registration. They find the defendant sleeping in his bed and they arrest him for a DUI. Is this a good arrest? Is this a hot pursuit? Well, it's not a hot pursuit.
Bad
But
arrest.
I don't think it's a bad arrest because we've seen other videos where I think from
saw him driving, never saw him in the car, never saw him behind the wheel. A respondent does not qualify for probable cause under any circumstances.
Exactly. I've seen a video Lackluster featured where OnStar activated on this person had arrest, and it was like it was somebody in the government club who had a DWI. It was a prosecutor, and by the time the cops got there, he was no longer behind the wheel, but he was clearly drunk, and they just let him go because they didn't have the reasonable articulable suspicion that he was driving, although they clearly admitted it over the OnStar, and there was enough evidence that they would have took time to gather it. Anywho, case study number 4, a drug dealer agreed to sell heroin to a confidential informant. The officer drove the confidential informant home. The confidential informant took the money from the officer, entered the home, and purchased the heroin. Police officers returned to the defendant's home where the defendant was standing in the threshold of her front door. The police identified themselves and the defendant retreated into her home. The police followed the defendant into her home and arrested her. That is more agreeable than the last case study, I would say. So, exigent circumstances continued. Imminent risk to public or police safety. Here, screams of shooting from an apartment. Health and safety of a person in imminent danger, like I was mentioning. Destruction, loss of evidence, amount of time it takes, them flushing the contraband down the toilet, gravity of the offense. Disposition of alcohol does not create per se exigent circumstances. Missouri versus McNeely. So they're saying that because the alcohol is running out of the bloodstream does not constitute exigent circumstances. I'm going to skip this case study. I want to get more to what they're training here. So stop and frisk, reasonable suspicion. Terry v. Ohio. Okay, this is what we see, this is where reasonable articulable suspicion of a crime comes from, folks. So Officer Terry saw 2 others walk back and forth in front of a store several times and looked around furtively. Based upon his experience, the officer believed that the men were casing the store in preparation for a robbery. And mind you, this happened back in 1968, folks. Woo! Officer approached the men and asked them to identify themselves. They mumbled something the officer couldn't understand. The officer grabbed Terry, spun him around, patted him down for weapons, felt a pistol, and confiscated the pow-pow. Reasonable suspicion continued. Terry court created reasonable suspicion, which a lesser standard than probable cause. An officer may stop someone to conduct a brief investigation if he has specific and articulable facts that a crime has been, is being, or about to be committed. It must be more than a hunch. An officer may conduct a cursory pat-down for weapons if he has a reason to believe the suspect is armed and dangerous and can only search for weapons for officer safety. Totality of the circumstances to determine whether the search was reasonable. Now, folks, when Sacramento got arrested for the contempt of cop charge, one thing that we were saying is he could have just invoked Terry v. Ohio, gave him a pat-down for weapons, and been on his way. But no, Tony the Tyrant escalated it. So, again, reasonable suspicion, if for officer safety, they can pat down Sacramento and possibly get away with qualified immunity if he were to file a lawsuit. But again, what was done before we think is unconstitutional, and we're currently fighting that. But now, folks, to ask you guys to please, again, like, share, and subscribe to all of our channels. Links are in the description. Again, we do, Sacramento Community Watch is now monetized. You can join our Watchman crew. Subscriptions start at $2.99 a month, gets you exclusive content and special badges. Please take a moment and double check those when you get a chance. We'd love for you to subscribe. So probable cause versus reasonable suspicion. And this is what they're training people, folks, okay? For probable cause, enough particularized facts to lead to a common sense person of reasonable caution to believe that there is fair probability of criminal activity. Illinois versus Gates. And reasonable suspicion is, since investigative detentions are temporary and minimally invasive, the reasonable suspicion standard is lower. The officer must have a specific and articulable facts that criminal activity is afoot. Terry v. Ohio. You arrest somebody for refusing to identify themselves. That's the ID cookie that we keep talking about, folks. So this is what they're training them if they can arrest somebody if they refuse to identify. Yes, if you have reasonable suspicion of a crime. No, if you do not have reasonable suspicion of a crime. Do you see how they just dumb this down? This is disgraceful. You know, they should be emphasizing that they have to have the crime. You know, just because it's a law that states that you have to ID yourself, they're thinking that is reasonable suspicion enough that you committed a crime to identify yourself. It's the catch-22 scenario. They're going in a circle. Oh, you didn't identify yourself because I wanted you to identify yourself. You're obstructing government. It's just a circle with them, but they don't remember this. If you haven't committed a crime other than identifying yourself, the crime of identifying yourself, they can't identify you. It's just that simple, folks. And they train that officer like, you know, I'm going to take your ID, Mr. Tarrant Key. Apparently, he missed the slide 35 in this deck, folks. We're on slide 35, and I mean, a suspect's failure to consent to request by a police officer during an encounter cannot be a factor which contributes to reasonable suspicion. Refuse to identify, consent to search, or answer questions. So again, two slides that barely touch over this, and they probably don't spend as much time on it like we're doing right now. They probably have already gone over this and been done with it. Informants. An anonymous tip which is partially corroborated can constitute reasonable suspicion. If an officer's uncover articulable facts that independently support reasonable suspicion of criminal activity, then it does not matter if the tip was reliable or not. Officer witnesses a traffic violation, is an example. How many slides we got in this thing?
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing.
There's 83 sides, so I'm going to skip over some of this stuff, and we're just going to kind of power through some of this stuff and go through the case studies. Weapons frisk. Terry pad is the search must be independently justified. Purpose of an officer's safety is for weapons, not evidence or contraband. Officer must have reasonable suspicion to believe that the suspect is armed and dangerous based upon articulable facts, not a hunch. Sudden movements, visible bulge, aggressive behavior. I don't think Tony the Tyrant had any of those, did he?
Negative.
Automatic right to frisk a person who is suspected of a violent crime, commonly involving weapons. See Thomas Diller, breath of domestic violence. Okay, defendant, postal worker. Okay, this is all about frisk. Okay, search incident to an arrest. Cell phones. Automobile exemptions. Consent. Remedies for the Fourth Amendment violation. Exclusionary rule. All evidence is obtained. See, no person shall be compelled in any crime to witness against himself. Privilege against self-incrimination. So they're going over the Miranda warnings. Yeah, I mean, they don't spend much time on the First Amendment, folks. I mean, No more end of warning is necessary. You know, they're going over some of this stuff, but yeah, and covered Sixth Amendment, speedy trial, subpoena court, assistance to counsel, confront witnesses against him. So, yeah, that's enough of that, folks. I mean, we covered what they covered with the Constitution, and it was minimal, and they got it wrong. Even the First Amendment, folks, they
missed one of them. Just outright missed one.
Yeah,
right
just
to
government of the grievances. Yeah, it's just unexcusable. It really is. So, I'm going to go ahead and put this back up here, or tyrant wall. We will be adding Miss Sabrina, the teenage Karen. I just got to get that figured out. Other than that, again, please take a moment, folks, to like, share, and subscribe to our videos. One thing we did put out there was a short, and that got our highest views of short on Sacramento Community Watch. Thank you, folks. Take a moment to watch that short, if you will, as well.
Yeah, we appreciate the love and support, guys. Awesome. You guys are just awesome.
It's truly because of you and thanks to you that we're now monetized and we're starting to enjoy the fruits of this labor that we so much love to do for you folks.
Right.
Other than that, we pretty much hit an hour and a half. We're at our limit, folks. We do, again, thank you so much. Please take a moment also to take a look at our comments, or not a comment section. Our in the description, we do have a link to the Sacramento Community Watch GoFundMe account for our legal defense fund, so that way we can make sure that our watchmen are protected out there legally as well, through monetary, because guys, unless you've gone through it, the court system bleeds your bank account. They say, oh, well, you can talk about that in front of a judge, but guess what? It takes a hit on your pocketbook when you do. And even when you're innocent, it's just, it's horrible that they don't put the law in law enforcement. So, other than that, do you got anything else, Sacramento, before we get out of here?
Yeah, I want you guys to be sure to check out our video gallery for some videos that we got today. We'll be uploading some videos, and you guys are going to love them. They're awesome. Awesome, like, for real.
And our next video that we're going to do is we actually did run
Xander, sorry.
Sacramento Community Watch and Xander, the Educator. And was Chance the Lieutenant there too? When he ran back in front of Tony the Tyrant?
On that video, yeah.
Yeah.
The last one, yeah.
Yeah, last one with Tony the Tyrant. We're going to go ahead and cover that on our next live stream. Again, folks, our live streams are now moving to Thursday starting next week. So we will not have the live stream on next Tuesday at 7. It's going to be next Thursday at 7. And again, we know that we're competing with prime time television, folks, but we do thank you for taking the time to come back and watching our live streams and learning with us as we try to educate people on the Constitution and your rights.
And we want you guys to check us out on Thursday at 7. Be there.
Yes,
or be square.
And we do thank you. So,
hey, Xander, wait 1 second. Xander, can you grab that? You still have that paper, right, of the bolo? I want to put that out on. So we have a vehicle that's been spotted in area of Butler Street. We believe it's Washoe County. We got a description of that vehicle and a license plate. We want you guys to be on the lookout for that vehicle. It's a gray Traverse Chevy SUV. License plate is 810 Lincoln 61. If you guys ever see this vehicle parked outside in the Reno area, be sure to call the police and let them know. It is a suspicious vehicle. It was an older white gentleman sitting in the vehicle. We had units roll up on him, and he took off pretty quickly. So we got to watch out for those type of things, you know. We watch the community, and we have people all over the community that give us a call and let us know if there's people in the area or suspicious vehicles, such as this Washoe County vehicle. And like we said, we're all a community, and we work together, period.
And if you guys out there in YouTube land can confirm that that is a government vehicle, please reach out to us at Sacramento Community Watch at gmail.com, or try to get in touch with us in other ways. Reno News Now at outlook.com is another way to get in touch with us. And Reno News Now at proton.me if you want to send an encrypted email to us as well. So yes, please reach out to us if you know that this is a government vehicle and which government vehicle or which government entity that this vehicle belongs to. Otherwise, if you see a suspicious person, like the police say, if you see something, say something.
Right.
But please do not call 911 on this vehicle. Please call non-emergency, please. Unless there is a life-threatening emergency, you never call 911. Always call non-emergency.
Yeah.
Even with
And again,
they called 911. It was wrong. They should have called non-emergency.
Yeah, and again, inside of the vehicle was an older white gentleman. He had a hat on, a black hat with a state emblem of Nevada on the front of it. So if you guys see that vehicle, we encourage you to call the non-emergency number and make sure it's reported, because you never know. We don't want anybody's kids or anything disappearing, and we got to look out for our communities. That's what we're all about.
What we're hoping is that this is a government vehicle that is just trying to stalk us and is not trying to do anything nefarious. So if it is a government vehicle, please contact us. And if you do not know if it's a government vehicle, please contact non-emergency services to report it being a suspicious vehicle, please.
Right, and if this is Washoe County, back off. I mean, we don't even understand. We have so many people out here. We have our eyes on the streets, and like we said, we're not there for anything with any illegal intent or ill intent. We're there to just record and document the situation. Yeah, a little bit of accountability, right? So,
yeah, and if you are a government official who's watching that, who's in that car, we do not want to put you on our tyrant wall, but we will. We will call you out. So
find you something to do and find you somebody else's kids to play with, because we're not the one. We have people all over. We're a community. We are a community. Period. .com. We're a community. We know everybody. We're all connected. They let us know where you guys are all the time.
So, and anything else, Xander, that you want to say before we head out? Love, peace, and chicken grease, right?
Love, peace, and chicken grease. Thank you guys for watching.
Love.
Yep. Thank you guys for watching, and please join us next time on next Thursday at 7 o'clock.
Peace.